What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Money Mindset Podcast, the best place for people who like to talk about money. I'm your host, Oliver Brito, here with my co-host, Luke Lunarola. What's going on, brother?
Everything's going good. First and foremost, how's everyone doing? I'd like to introduce myself, Luke Lunarola here. You know, Money Mindset Podcast, I think, is just something that is going to change the game. You know, we're influencing people our age, people of all ages, and I think it's going to take off. With that being said, what's going on in the market this week? You know,
There's a lot of stuff
Russia,
going on.
Ukraine,
Oh, my God.
the Fed. There's a lot going on, a lot of things, a lot of factors,
Yeah.
a lot of volatility in the market right now,
I never
making
seen
a
it
lot of
before.
people scared.
Yeah.
Emotion is the biggest
Influence. It's a
influence,
psychology.
and it's, you know, it could be the best thing for you or the worst thing for you, and you really can't act on emotion, especially in times like this. You know, you have to just be logical when it comes to your money and be smart, plan ahead.
There's a lot of planning that's got to go on now, especially with this market. Before we jump into that, I want to do an introduction to myself as well for all the listeners out there. This is the first episode of the Money Mindset Podcast. We did do the Evolution Podcast before this, you know, more structured against personal development. But at the end of the day, we figured out that we both love money more than anything. We kind of only want to talk about money, everything that's related to money. So, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there like us, so we're going to serve that audience.
Exactly.
But with that being said, a little bit about myself. I work in the financial industry. I'm a portfolio management expert. I sell a portfolio management system, and I work with the world's, you know, largest asset managers and asset owners on how to manage their investments. So I'm already on my day-to-day, look, I'm already focused on money all day, every single day. It's all about money management, and it's all about how does economics tie into money, how does psychology tie into money, how does everything tie into money. And I love it because those conversations on a daily basis literally just feed into what I love. So I like going to work. I excel because I like what I do. And now I'm here to talk about it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Educate the people that might be doctors, lawyers who aren't always, you know what I mean, around money discussions, but they make a lot of money. Or if you don't even make money and you want to make it grow for you, like, this is the place for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn, you know, you have a lot of money, how to manage your money, the right places to put it, how to expand your net worth, grow your income streams, which is something that's extremely important. You know, like you said, if you don't have a lot of money, there's ways to make money. There's always ways to make money.
Always a
and
way.
if you think there isn't, it's just because you're lazy and you're not looking hard enough.
Or your mindset's just not, you know, your mindset and belief system isn't crafted that way. You know what I mean? And you have to start off from square one. People might be sitting here not making too much money, but they have a lot of free time on their hands. Or there's another person that works 3-4 jobs, you know what I mean? But they don't realize they're not really building any, you know, valuable skills. That's why those jobs are paying so little. You know, there's so many different things to look at from that perspective. And then also, then you have the consumer mindset rather than the investor mindset. You're just buying everything. You think it's so cool because you watch the rap video, you watch everything on TV, you want the gold chain, you want that, and then you just go spend your money on liabilities, not assets. You're not patient. You're not putting your money into the future. You're not thinking about 5-10 years ahead when you take $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, even $100 now and invest it into something that's going to turn into a, you know, a profitable reward in the future. People just want to see get rich quick schemes, so they're getting robbed on Instagram. They're putting $500 in the Forex, and then it's below their account. Now they're just down 500. Meanwhile, if you put 500, you know, 3-4 years ago in an S&P 500 ETF,
It's worth a few thousand.
you know what I mean? You would have got a good amount. You would have got a good return. You would have had 2-3 shares of this as a SPY. You know what I mean? That's worth like $450 right now.
Yep. Dividends reinvested too. You know,
Exactly.
These are the little things. But I also want to build on something that you said and touch on it a little more. You know how you said working 3 to 4 jobs and people don't realize, you know, they're making money, right? But at the end of the day, they're hurting themselves in the long run. I'm going to be polarizing as hell right now. Money is everything.
It is.
Money makes the world go round. And people who think, you know, people might come here and say like, "Oh, you have the wrong mindset. Health is everything," or things like that. But at the end of the day, everyone needs money to survive.
Yep.
If you're working 3 to 4 jobs, why? You need money.
Yep.
Right? Learn how to make your money work for you, because the most valuable thing in your life is your time.
Exactly.
So you don't, yeah, it's good. If you have to hustle and grind, work those 3 to 4 jobs to get to where you need to be and build that base, all to it. You know, do what you got to do.
Yep.
Grind, hustle. That's what your 20s and 30s are for.
Exactly.
Put the work in now. You don't want to be working those jobs to put food on the table for your family.
That's what Jordan Peterson said, right? The other day I was watching one of his podcasts, and he said, like your 20s, and I this is something I preached before even hearing him say it. So when I heard him say it, I was even more hyped. Like your 20s are supposed to be where you test your limits.
Correct.
You grind until you burn out, and then you know, okay, that's my peak, and then you do it again, see if you could get a little more, get a little more, get a little more, and then you know how much you're able to work, whether it's 12 hours a day, or 8 hours a day, or 60 hours a week, or 100 hours a week, or 40 hours a week, whatever it is, and then that's what you can maintain through your 30s, 40s, and 50s when you're not really, when you're not as young anymore. You know what I mean? But in addition to that, just to get back to your polarizing point, because I am on the same page with you, money is everything. And do you know why money is everything? Because the only thing that can buy you your time back is money.
Correct.
Nothing else. People sacrifice health because they don't have money. You know what I mean? People are not able to, fix their health if, God forbid, something happens.
You can't do anything without money.
You can't do anything.
You can't help save the world. You can't donate. People who say like, you're selfish because you have so much money. Everyone's always going to have a negative viewpoint. I saw something today, a video. If you're fat, you eat too much. If you're getting skinny, you're sick. Everyone's always going to have a comment.
Exactly.
Stop focusing on what other people think.
Focus
Stay
on
in
what
your
you
lane.
like. Exactly.
And lock in.
If you love money, there's no problem with that. You're supposed to love money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Don't love it to the point that you get greedy and start doing bad things. That's a whole different conversation. But having a lot of money, that's what you could have a big influence. You can make a big positive impact in this world. You can, pass it down to and create generational wealth and give to your kids and their kids what you never had.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You could put them in the best schools, get them educated, set them up for success. You have power. You have freedom. Money gives you that freedom. Without money, you don't have freedom. You want to know why? Because freedom is, you could express freedom as a function of time, right? If most of my time has to be stuck in a job that I hate, people love, spending time at a job. Like exactly. I love my job. I'm not saying it like that. But if you have to work 2-3 jobs to pay for the rent or pay for the mortgage and pay for the car and pay for the kid's school or whatever bills you have, then you're not free at all. But the more money you have, the more freedom you gain, because you don't have to allocate your one and only resource, which is at the end of the day your time. That's the only very, very important resource in this world.
Correct.
You don't have to allocate that to some place that you don't want to be. You could do what you want. You could drive your son or daughter to school and watch them walk in, you know what I mean, and watch them grow up. You could spend that quality time from the age of 0 to 5 years old with them instead of being, away 12 hours a day. Because exactly. They're changing every fucking hour. My daughter is doing something different.
Exactly.
And she's 6 months old now. Every single hour she's, doing another sound. She's like that, like stuff like that. She's rolling over. And I don't want to miss those moments, but if I'm not there half the day or half the time, I get 2 days off, I'm not going to be able to see her as much. You know what I mean? So that's why the most important thing is you have money. You know how to use money. You develop a money mindset. You know how to make money. You know how to make your money work for you. You no longer have to allocate your time to make that money. You could do what you want, whether it's skiing or driving the nicest car or just going and sitting down, meditating and watching the view or spending time with your kids, whatever you love to do. We're all different. I'm not saying we're all the same, but one thing that is equal is that if you have a lot of money, you could do what you want.
Exactly. And to build on something you said before, about luxuries and things like that. I like luxuries, and I know you're the same way. But it's, you have to have the mindset of how to be able to get there. Do it smart. You're not going to make $1,000 and then go spend $750 on a new shirt. If your money's not working for you while you're sleeping, you're going to work for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Forever. And that's the money that you use to buy you those things. The real estate, the dividends, all of those passive income streams is what you use to buy the luxuries. And the money that you're breaking your balls for, busting your ass, working 12 hours a day, that's the money you use to get yourself to that point.
Exactly.
I think a lot of people, that's the disconnect. People say
possible.
how? Like, how am I going to get there? When you get your paycheck on Friday, I bet you majority of the people don't pay themselves first. That's the biggest issue.
Everybody says, oh, I got paid, let's go out.
Yeah. Have a direct deposit set up. Hit it right into your investment account. It's that easy. In this way, you could have bills come out as easy as that.
Yes.
Why not pay yourself first?
Structure it.
Treat your future as a bill, as an expense.
Yeah.
And you'll realize how much you'll thank yourself in 10, 15, 20 years from now. Stop flushing your money into your car payment and all those things, expensive rent.
Exactly.
And pay yourself.
Live below your means.
Exactly.
And that's a great point you bring up, for example, because I'm buying a house now in Jersey, and my wife and I broke out a budget based on both of our incomes. And one of the line items there, we have two very specific line items, right? One is investments. We're going to put at least $1,000 a month away in investments, and the other one is a $500 monthly emergency fund.
Yep.
And as times are changing, I'm like reallocating the budget, cutting expenses here and there. Those are the two ones that I will not touch.
Exactly.
It's like the mortgage. Like I can't go and lower my mortgage rate. It's just not going to happen. My mortgage is this, I got to pay it. But my investment is this, I got to pay it. So, food, shopping, grocery shopping. Like maybe we're not going to go out to the restaurant twice a month or 3 times a month, and we're going to cook at home more. And we have to make sure we're maximizing that food so we don't keep putting vegetables in the bottom drawer and they keep going bad, and it starts throwing money out the window. We got to be very specific. So that's exactly how I look at it. Just have a plan. Structure your money like you structure your life. People just think, oh, money comes in. They don't even care. Oh, I just got like around $1,200 today because I got paid. Like, now, how much did you just get paid? You got paid $2,900 for the last 2 weeks. All right, so how's that $2,900? Where's that $2,900 going?
20% is coming out off the top.
Right off the rip.
That's it.
Put it into your investment account. And the thing is, why you have to do that consistently, because people are like, oh, I'll just take $1,000 out, put it in the market, and let it work. No. Because guess what happens if you put $1,000 in the market right now, and we see what's going on today.
Buy high.
You buy high and it starts tanking. One, you probably need that money because you just put all the savings you had, and now if something came up, you have to pull out of the stock market at a loss. You don't want to do that. The money that goes in does not come out for a long time.
Ever.
Number two, you know what I mean? You want to be someone that's always putting money in, so you're always buying, like your dollar averaging.
Exactly.
So what that means is I'm buying every week. I'm buying every week a little bit. So if it keeps going down every week, I'm getting the best prices. If it keeps going up, I'm still getting in and riding it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever's going on, you're getting the best out of it. You're getting the average price over a long time frame.
Exactly.
Rather than being the person to go and put,
$50,000 at the highest price, and then it drops 20%.
Buy 10 shares of Facebook 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when it was at $350. Now it's at $207 after the earnings report. You know what I mean? That's a lot of money that it just disappeared, vanished.
Exactly. And then those people say the stock market's rigged.
And
because you just don't have the knowledge. You have to educate yourself prior to just jumping into something. If someone tells you, oh, buy Shiba Inu.
If your barber told you to buy something, don't do it. If your cab driver told you to buy something, don't do it. If your boy came in telling you about this crazy new investment that you're going to turn 1,000 into 20,000, and it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true. But I'm not saying that those opportunities don't exist.
You got to do your due diligence.
Exactly.
An idiot with a plan will always beat a genius without a plan.
Exactly. Every single
100
time.
out of 100 times.
You're gonna make that mistake.
You got to plan. That's the biggest thing. You got to lay things out. You got to self-reflect, right? That's the first thing. And so it's something that we always used to preach. Yeah. If you don't know where you stand right now at this given moment, whether it be your expenses, emotionally, psychologically, you have to know, all right, this is my mindset. I either want to get here, so I'm going to have to change X, Y, and Z to get to point B, or I like where I am right now, but what can I do to enhance the situation?
Exactly.
And I think a lot of people say they like money, but they really don't.
No.
Or
look what they're doing.
They just
with the
don't
money.
know how to make it.
No, they don't know how to make it. No, but people have jobs, right? They have that cash flow stream, but they're not looking at it as an asset. They're not looking at it as I have this much money coming in, and now I want to take a portion of it and make it grow. They're not looking at it as a machine like that. And the reason why we talk about this is I'm not sitting here saying like, I'm a money expert and everything I do goes right. No, I just made so many fucking expensive mistakes that I can't forget about them, and now I've grown and I've gained experience. I've been somebody to listen to my boy put money in on a stupid investment. It skyrocketed up, and then I could have took my money out, but I didn't have an exit plan, and then it plummeted now. Now it's worthless, and I'm sitting here like an idiot.
Exactly.
I've made that mistake multiple times, so I'm speaking based off experience. For example, there's a company HCMC. And everybody was hyped about HCMC. They were suing Philip Morris, and we thought they were going to get a couple $1 billion. There's a penny stock. It's worth a tenth or a thousandth of a penny. You know what I mean? Like, it's worth absolutely nothing. I put about a couple grand in there. It went up like 300-400%. So if I put like $2 grand in, I was up like $6K. So my $2 grand turned to $8K like in a week. I didn't pull it out. Like, I kept thinking it was going to go up after they won the lawsuit. Thing's fucking worthless right now. It's literally worthless. I lost all my money. I lost 96% of my investment. Yep. Put like $2K in there. I ended up taking out like $400. And I work in the financial industry. I should have known that is a stupid play. But greed really
and emotion,
greed's an emotion. It really comes into play. You gotta have your game on.
Yeah.
But I'm happy I made the mistake. Guess what? Because I'm never gonna make that fucking mistake again.
Exactly.
So now every time I look at one of these things, I'm very skeptical. Not so skeptical that I'm gonna miss the opportunities, but I'm not just gonna throw my money around like nothing, because now I know the feeling of losing a couple grand, and I don't like that feeling.
Exactly, and that's what we're here for, right? You know, we're talking about these things, and like you said, we're not money experts, but we're talking from experience. You know, we've been in certain situations, we've made certain mistakes. You know, the greatest thing you ever said to me when you were my mentor. You know, people look at a mentor and they read everything and they read up on it and they look at Instagram and they think, it's a ripoff. What's this guy going to do for me? And you laid it out for me perfectly and changed my mindset forever. You know, Oliver said, if you're going in a race and you're doing a 3K run and he runs before I do, and there's, you know, say a ditch at mile 1.5 and a log down here, you're going to say, hey, watch out for this and watch out for that. Why? Because you did it. And now I learned from your experience, and I know to avoid those certain things on my path.
Exactly.
That's the point about surrounding yourself with the right people, educating yourself with the right information, and then taking action, building the plan, and executing properly.
Exactly. Couldn't have said any better. You
know, it's really just comes down to, you know, you want money? Well, you're not going to hang out with the broke guy in the corner.
That's what I'm saying. But most people do. They take money advice. They take money advice from people that, nothing wrong with people that drive Toyotas. People have millions and they drive
I drive
Toyotas.
a Hyundai.
You know what I mean?
just money smart.
Exactly.
I don't need a big car bill right now.
I drive a BMW. Do you know what? You want to know why I have a BMW? Because I got out of college. My mom gave me 20 grand. She saved 20 grand for me and my brother after we graduated. And I put all the 20 grand on a BMW. Love my car. I go for rides in it. It's 435 M Sport. I love it. But if I put that money in the market, at that time, 5 years ago, that would be over 100K right now.
Yep.
So realistically now I'm down. My car depreciated. It's a liability. So if I just stayed with the Nissan back then, I would have a lot more money in my pocket right now. And I just bought a house and I'll be able to do a couple things that I wish I'm able to do in that house.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, I don't regret anything. I enjoy that car. I have a lot of memories in it. I love it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the most financially sound decision. So you staying with the Hyundai right now is going to set you up better in the future. So, but back what I'm saying is, you know what I mean? People are taking their money advice from somebody who, you know, owns one house, half owns it because they still have half their mortgage left, and they drive a Toyota and they don't make that much money and they don't invest in the stock market, and they're taking advice from them.
And that's always going to be the guy too, to be like, make a comment, you know?
Always.
And it's the negativity that's going to start making your mind go, and it's normal, right? You know, you're going to get pulled in one direction. You talk to one person and they're telling you X, Y, and Z, and then you go to talk to the next person and they're telling you something different. And now you're like, what the hell? I'm getting pulled in two different directions. Which is why it's important to do your own due diligence. You have to do your own research. You have to.
And then
you take advice, but you take it with a grain of salt, right?
Yeah.
You have to. You can't. Everything. If you listen to everything everyone told you, you probably wouldn't be where you are right now.
And that's a great point you said. You can't listen to what everybody tells you, because that's something that as I'm developing and growing myself, I found myself to, if I look at somebody as an expert in a certain field, I start listening to them on things that they say outside of certain fields. You know what I mean? Just because they have a level of influence on you.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And you're either influencing or being influenced in every conversation.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You're either being influenced or influencing. So if you're the person listening, you know what I mean? You have to make sure that you are filtering what's being said, analyzing who is saying it, and saying, should I listen to it or not? Don't just look at somebody that drives a Toyota or lives in a house that's not the biggest house and not listen to them about money at all. Don't be closed-minded. That guy could have $10 million in the bank account, because it's not what you see. You know what I mean? You could be rich. You don't have to look rich. Look at Zuckerberg. If you had no idea who Zuckerberg was, and he's wearing the same shirt every day, you probably think the guy smells bad and he's broke. He's more money than anybody. You know what I'm saying? But then you look at somebody, you drive down the street, you got the guy blasting music out of his M550, and he has 2 chains on. You go, this guy got mad money. Realistically, he has a 300 credit score. He just bought mad stuff and keeps going on default on it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But it goes the same way, though. You know, just because a guy drives those things, you don't listen to him. Or just because the guy's got that lifestyle. You know, Jordan Belfort, guy is very successful, but at the end of the day, he was scamming people.
Exactly.
Because no one did their own research. It made him money because he was a good salesman. Exactly. But at the end of the day, if you're putting any type of money into an investment, you have to do the research. That's it. End of story. Like, I just can't stress that enough.
What company are you investing in? It doesn't have to be stocks. You know, it could be real estate. Where's that house? You know, what's the surrounding around that house? Is it an appreciating market? Did a Whole Foods come there? Did Starbucks put a Starbucks around there? You know what I mean? That's due diligence.
Exactly.
Due diligence is just, you know, doing your research about it before you put your money. Put your money places where you think it's going to grow. Look at an investment as you're giving your boy money and your boy's going to make money on it.
Exactly.
And you want to give your boy who's broke and has every dumb idea and loses money left and right and has a gambling problem. Correct. You're not going to give him money. Right, so look at it as a business. I'll give Microsoft my money. They're mad good at what they do.
Exactly.
Every time I log in, I use Microsoft. Every business uses Microsoft. You know, Microsoft Excel. Like they are by far the leaders in their industry, and they grow. Did you see the percent returns? Microsoft the last 5 years, double digits every year.
Was it really?
Yeah, and think about the compounding. Double-digit percent returns, price returns on their stock the last 4 or 5 years, and think about what compounding interest on top of that. You know what I mean?
And reinvested dividends too. You know, it's just you could continue.
They do pay a small dividend too, yeah.
Accumulate that wealth. And to add on that, you know, when you said earlier the consumer mindset, if everything you own in your house is Apple, why aren't you invested in the company?
I said it the other day.
If you're Amazon's number one, probably everyone was during COVID, why didn't you invest in the company?
I said it to my mother-in-law the other day. She's like, I'm not buying Amazon stock. They're too high. My mother-in-law is a very successful woman.
Yes.
Very, very, very successful. For the listeners out here, she is not only a boss in the financial industry where she works. I'm not going to say names, and she runs a $1 billion business, but she has a lot of money. She has 3 pieces of property, all north of $1 million value. She's doing good. But she doesn't own Amazon because she's like, it's too expensive, $3,000 plus a stock. I'm like, why are you looking at the price? You just bought 10 shares of, you know, Netflix or X and Y company that was at $300 and you paid $3,000. Why don't you buy a stock of Amazon? Every single day I walk in here, you have an Amazon box. You, Nicolette, me.
Yeah.
There's Al. There's always a fucking box of Amazon. Someone's buying something every single day, and you're not. Do you not see that cash flow stream?
Yep.
Do you not see that cash flow stream?
You could literally make money off the companies you like.
We don't buy Apple's a great company, but we're not buying Apple products that often. They're expensive,
yeah,
wider margins, but something is being bought from Amazon every single day. Like, and we don't own it because we think it's expensive.
Exactly. It's expensive for a reason.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not also that expensive for a reason. They don't have that many shares outstanding.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Their overall market cap is, you know, smaller than Apple's. Apple's is larger, but Apple has more you know, underlying stocks or shares outstanding. So when you divide the amount of the market cap by the shares outstanding, you get a lower stock price. It's just a formula where inputs are there. It doesn't matter. If I have $3,000 to invest in the company and I want to put it into Amazon, I'm going to put it into Amazon. You know, if you're starting off with $1,000, you can't buy Amazon. So start with the smaller ones, build up, and then reallocate. Do that, rebalance your portfolio. But if you have $10K on the side, you want to put it into the market, and you just think that you're not getting value because you're not getting 5-6 shares of a company for that money. Amazon still goes up 5%, 10%, you know, double-digit percent returns a year. And percent returns are percent returns. If you get 10% on 3,000 in company A with 5 shares, or you get 10% on 3,000 in company B, and you only have one share, you still got 10%. It doesn't matter, but they don't look at it like that.
And that goes too for like you said, you really can't. But like people who aren't having that much money, there are ways. You know, get a Robinhood account, get fractional shares.
Yeah,
Start somewhere.
I forgot about that too.
Start somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy the whole thing. Like you said, a percent change is a percent change. If you could only put 500 and you're making 10%, all right, that's $50. It's all you have, but it's money that's being made.
But now you have $550.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And 10% of $550 is $55. And as you could see, that's the art of compound interest. Albert Einstein said it was the 8th wonder of the world. Compound interest, 10% on 500 is 50. 10%, and then you get another 10% on there, it's 55.
Keeps growing. Then
you're like at $605. Then 10% of that is $60.50, something like that. And then it keeps growing and growing. Yep. Next thing you know, you got $10K in the bank. You just made 10%. You made $1,000.
Yep.
You were making $50, $55. Now you made $1,000. You make $1 million. You have $1 million you saved up, and you have reinvested for a couple of years, 10, 20 years, and you make some good decisions. You got $1 million in the bank. You make 10%. You're making $100K a year on investments.
The first $100K is the hardest.
Yeah.
You know, to get from 0 to 100 is probably going to take you, depending on how much you're investing, average 10%, it'll take you about 8 years, around there, 8 to 10, somewhere around there. It's not factoring in compound interest, right?
You can make it when making like good bets or like saving a larger portion of your money, but depending on how much you make. But yeah, did you know why it's the hardest, the first 100K? Because the percent returns are so small.
And then now think when you have 500,000 invested, you're gonna make 100K in 2 years.
Literally
2. So you went from 8 to 2.
Exactly.
Just keep stacking your money. Stay patient. Patience is key.
Look at Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett didn't turn into a billionaire. I saw this the other day. He turned a billionaire when he was like 40 plus.
Yeah,
or 50.
And he was a millionaire at 30, I think.
Exactly. And he started buying stocks at 13.
Yep.
trust the process.
It works.
Just trust the process. And I'm speaking to myself right now because sometimes I get impatient too. And
Of course.
I put money. Again, you can have a portfolio. Make sure you're buying your Microsoft, your Apples, your Amazons, and then you can have 10% of your overall portfolio value for risk plays. You know what I mean? Don't care if you lose all your money in that play, but if it blows up, have an exit plan. Take your fucking money.
Exactly.
Don't be like me who turned 2,000 to 8,000, left it in there, and then it went to 400. And then another time I bought Shiba Inu. Because I only bought this as a risk play because after I learned. Bought it at 1,800. It turned into 9K. I thought it could be going up a little higher because I was fucking greedy. I ended up taking it out at 6K. I still more than tripled my money.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, I could have maximized a little bit more. But greed is always a factor. When you see that money going up, it feels so good when the money goes up.
Because you don't
want to
miss
feels
out.
worse when that same amount of money goes down.
Yep.
So if I'm up $2,000, I'm like, all right, cool. I can make $3,000.
Yeah.
If I'm down $2,000, I want to throw up.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But with that being said, this is just the introductory episode, get people to know us, who we are, and what we talk about. But we're going to be doing this on a weekly basis. So this podcast is for people who just want to talk about money. We're going to get more into things like how inflation impacts money, how, everything from stocks to real estate, just the psychology.
Different skills you could learn at home to make money on your side time. Anything
Exactly.
about money is what we're going to talk about.
We're going to bring in experts on it so they could talk more into it. I'm not going to position myself as an expert, but we know a lot of people in our network that we could bring in who could break down how to run a business, who could break down whether it's a pizzeria, whether it's a laundromat, whether it's a daycare.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just to give the listeners ideas of, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, maybe I want to be a business owner one day and let me hear of how a pizzeria works, how when they buy cheese, when they buy sauce, how much it costs, how much they flip it for. It's all a business. People don't think about it like that. Once you get that money mindset, you'll be able to replicate
Food for thought before we close out. A salary is the drug that they give you to forget about your dreams.
That's not wrong.
Kevin O'Leary said it.
He
Think
did.
about that.
Yep. And with that, we'll see you guys next week. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.